for the red.
Yes.
Say good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning. What was that? Good morning. That was a funny good morning. Good morning, everyone. Yes, this is Thursday morning. I'm here with my darling boy. Say hello.
Hello.
This is Reese Astor. Say into the camera. Say hello.
Hello.
And I'm also here with my friend Al Pisano. Al, say good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Al is calling from Colorado, and of course, didn't mean to leave him till last, but we do have Gregor, who is always with us.
There you go.
Watch the camera. Say, can you do that? Have you seen this child's very bright eyes? Everybody? Yes. Okay, you probably can see my very bright face too. We went to the beach and we got just a little bit too much sun,
Yeah.
didn't we? And then we've been in the pool every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
Every
Every
single
single day. What else have we been doing?
Coloring.
We've been colouring.
Oh, that's fun.
Rosie's been drawing pictures and we've been colouring them, and we've also got
Only two.
and we've also got a colouring book, haven't we?
Yeah. And I've been doing surprises.
Oh, he's been doing so many surprises. He's been drawing pictures as surprises and then giving them to us, to me and to his mama. And
Yeah.
you've been drawing trains, haven't you?
Yeah.
He drew me a love train now.
Oh, really? That sounds neat.
Yep. So that was a very big surprise. Would you like to sit up, Wrigglebum? Tell everyone what we did yesterday.
Get lobster.
We got lobster out.
Really?
Yeah, we got live lobsters, didn't we?
And they wiggled and waggled and we named them Wiggle and Waggle.
We named
Oh.
them Wiggle and Waggle. And then Mosey cooked them, and then we ate Wiggle and Waggle. Mama and Wiggle and Waggle, but you didn't, did you? No. For all of you out there who think that I should not have cooked these live lobsters, I have to say they were really delicious. So there, what can I say? And there are three things that
Mommy
Samantha,
made the burger. Woogle.
we named the burger Woo Woo. What did we name it?
Woogle.
Woogo. Wooga. We
Woogle.
named the burger as well Wooga.
Woogle.
And
You said Woogle.
there are three things that Samantha wants when she comes. She wants duck à l'orange, which we're having tomorrow. She wants the lobster, which we had yesterday.
Yeah.
And she likes lamb as well. So we might have lamb.
Yeah.
You never know what's going to happen in this house, do you? So how have you been, Al? Anything to tell us? How have you been this week?
I've been well this week.
You done anything fun?
No, my daughter had a chorus concert last night. It was really nice to see her sing.
Wow. You sing sometimes, don't you? At school? Don't you? Where you do dances and things like that? I saw a video the other day where you were dancing with your
Yeah, that was
a midterm celebration. All right. Do we have anybody on this show watching? Because the mic is disappearing by now. I think we're not going to ask questions.
We have a couple of people saying you're very low and I'm very loud.
Oh, let me
I'm not sh-
see if I can just turn. I'm playing with this computer a little bit. Sorry, everybody. Is that better?
I don't know. Let's see what they say. I don't know if I can make mine lower.
And a bit louder. I can't make it any more loud than it is. I don't know why. But at least we've got some people listening, haven't we?
We do, yes.
So why don't we? Reese might stay, or he might go off and colour and then come back, or whatever you want to do. All right. If you want to go off and colour in a minute, you can. Okay. If you get bored with this show. So Al, who do we have, and do we have any questions or any comments?
We don't have any questions yet. A lot of good mornings. a couple of people commented that I'm loud and you're soft, so hopefully I could speak a little more softly, and they'll hear you a little bit better.
I just turned the sound up, so hopefully, it was, not on full volume, but it was quite high. So hopefully they can hear. And excuse me. So why don't we continue to chat? We can talk about what Reese and I've been doing. We went to the supermarket yesterday, didn't we?
Yes.
What did we get? Can you remember?
Marcus.
Yeah, you can't shout. Can't shout.
I think you just woke everybody up.
Bet they heard that. I bet they heard Reese.
I think they did.
The person did.
I bet every single person did. Absolutely. I did because she shouted it in my ear. I couldn't miss it. So we
Yeah,
went
you
to the
did not
supermarket. We
miss
got some markers. Then we went to get some lobster. Then we came back and what did we do when we came back? Oh, I know.
Cook the lobster.
Swam, swam, swam in the pool for ages and ages, didn't we? We swam in the pool. We had races which Reese won every time.
Yeah.
And believe you me, I was trying to win, but he's such a great swimmer, aren't you? Then he
Yeah.
swims underwater with his goggles. He's like a little fish in the water. And what else did we do this week? What else did we do this week? Oh, I know. We watched the baking show because Reese loves the baking show, don't you? It's one of
Yeah.
your favourite shows. If you're going to be silly, you can go and clear off.
Reese, which show do you like? What baking show?
British.
British baking show. Yay! We do.
It's high in the sky.
It's the best, right? It is the best one. And yesterday we watched the British baking show, and then they had people making some creme anglaise. So I thought, well, I'll make some. So I made some creme anglaise yesterday, which your mama and I really loved, and
I did not.
You did not. Oh, I know what we can tell them we did make together.
Chocolate cake.
We made the chocolate cake, yes, for his birthday, but we also made chocolate hearts.
I bet everyone heard that.
We made chocolate hearts, and then I got some gold edible paint out, and we painted the hearts.
Yeah.
And we painted the cake on the
Yeah.
top, all with gold, and it looked. And we put the hearts on the side. That's enough, thank you. And it looked like.
And we put an R on a 6.
We put an R for Reese and a 6 because that's how old he is this week.
Yeah.
And the cake just looked like a crown by the time we'd finished. I'll send you a picture. I'll send you all a picture. I'll put it on Facebook for you. It's a great, great picture of a chocolate cake that looks just like
yummy,
a
yummy,
prince's.
yummy, yummy, yum.
It was yummy. Thank you very much. And the chocolate hearts were yummy as well.
Yummy, 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 yummy.
Are you saying that someone had a birthday, Rosemary?
Me?
Oh.
How old were you? 6. Could you stop shouting? It's silly. Those 6-year-old boys do get silly, don't they? He was 6 years old. And do you know how many birthday parties he had?
How many?
3.
Wow.
We had 2 in New York and 1 here.
Yeah.
So we made a chocolate cake and we made some chocolate hearts.
And I got so many presents.
Well, yes, because you got presents in New York and then you came here and you got presents here as well, didn't you? I bought him a kite, but we didn't know how to fly it. So, but that was all right. It was fun trying.
Yeah.
And yes, and that was it, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Are
Bye-bye.
you going to sleep then now, or are you going to go and do some colouring? Because Mosey has some work to do. We've got people wanting to ask questions. You can stay if you'd like to stay.
Yeah.
But if you stay, then you have to be quiet. Can you be that?
Okay.
Okay. All right then. Al, do we have any questions?
We do have a couple of questions.
Okay.
We have Sunshine Moon asks, what is Reese's soul sign?
What is Reese's soul sign? Oh, that's a good question.
What?
Well, there's a lady who's asking a question about you. But Reese doesn't know too much about soul signs yet because we haven't talked too much to Reese about soul signs. However, I'll tell you before I tell you what his soul sign is, it could be the same as mine, actually. But before we tell you about what his soul sign is, guess what I read to Reese the other day?
Walk in the
A
clouds.
walk in the clouds. And you know, the last chapter is all about who is it all about?
Me.
It's all about Reese and how I was told so 30 years ago that there would be a little boy. Who would that be? and
Me.
and it's all about how Reese sometimes knows things like his mama does and like Mosey does, and sometimes you just know things, don't you?
Yeah.
And it's very interesting. So in the book, in the last chapter, I talk about the things, some of the things that he knows and some of the things that he's told us. Because it's just natural for us, isn't it? It's just ordinary for us.
Yeah.
Sometimes we just know things, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ouch.
That was my ring. All right. So he is an earth sign and he is a warrior soul. There we are. There we have it. It's now official uh, for everyone to know about. So let's have another question. Do we have another question?
Yes, we have a question from Albertine.
Good morning, Albertine.
It says, "Hello, Rosemary. Children told me they know me, but I had never seen them before. How is that possible?"
Which children would they be? If she's talking about children, if you, Albertine, if you're talking about children in the spirit world, of course they know you, and of course they see you. Even if you don't know them, they sometimes see us and they take an interest in us, as has happened with me on many, many occasions. So sometimes, you know, those in the spirit world, they just like to peek at us, they like to look at us, and if they like us, or if they like what we're doing, or if they want to get involved in something that we're doing, they'll come and spend some time with us, which is lovely, right?
Yeah.
Shall I have another question?
So we have Twiggy Leaf here.
Keep them coming now, everybody. Keep those questions coming.
Yeah.
Yes, keep those questions coming. Al, thanks.
So we have Twiggy Leaf,
Good morning, Twiggy.
who actually I think said she joined the class.
Can you just hold on 1 second? Don't you
Yeah.
think that it's funny that someone would be named Twiggy? Yeah. But I like the name, do you? I think it's a nice name. Did she join the class? I'm not sure. Do we know that she joined the class?
Yeah, she said I signed up for the course, so she's excited to get started.
Yay! Oh, good. Well, we'll see you in a couple of weeks. 3 weeks or something. I think. 2 weeks.
One.
Thank you, Reese. Thank you.
So
Does Twiggy have a question, or is she saving them all for the class?
she has a question.
Go for it.
So I'm going to read the second part first because it explains the question. She said, "I think there's a presence with me. I tend to get freaked out, and bad thoughts will pop into my head simply because I know they shouldn't be there, not because I want to think them. Has Rosemary got any advice for dealing with intrusive thoughts? The idea that the spirit world can read my thoughts sometimes makes me anxious."
Well, of course, the spirit world not only can read our thoughts, they can see everything that we're doing, and then they can see everything we're up to, but then they haven't come to judge us. So that's always something to remember. They're not standing in judgment of us, they're not wanting to criticize us. They're there to help us and to guide us and to steer us in the right way. So, I, you're going to be doing the classes with us, Twiggy. So I shall go a little bit more into detail as to what you need to do in order to sort out your thoughts and be in control of your thoughts. But I want you to remember that thoughts are living things, and they go out into the universe and they gather energy. A tiny thought is a tiny, tiny little thing of energy, little tiny pulse of energy which goes out into the universe. So it's very important that when you have these thoughts, if you feel that these thoughts aren't yours, then you sit quietly for a minute. You tell whoever it is you think is trying to get into your head to go away, and then you actively start to think some very positive things and some very positive thoughts about people that you love, people that you care about. I can remember many, many years ago, and I was dealing with someone in the spirit world who was not so nice. And what I did was I called a friend and I said to the friend, I need some help. And what we did was we sang good songs, we said good prayers. I called on my angels who helped me, and so with all those positive thoughts and positive actions, we simply got rid of this person who was not so nice. So
Yeah.
so singing songs and singing is always good, isn't it, Reese?
Yeah.
Singing is a very good thing to do. Singing happy songs is
Yeah.
a good thing to do. So try that, darling, and let me
Singing
know if
bad songs is not.
no, singing bad songs is not a good idea, is it? But singing good
No.
songs and happy songs
Yeah.
is always good. Let me know how it goes, Twiggy. Next question now.
So Teresa asked a question. I asked her to clarify, and
Good morning.
she she said, I had a medium tell me about this about my husband. What is the meaning of a white balloon in a medium reading?
I haven't a clue. I have no idea. Never heard the phrase.
Me either.
Never, never. Don't know anything about it.
A white
I would.
balloon.
I would actually question the authenticity of the person who told you this. Uh, and I get my the curiosity is for me, if I said that to someone, if I said anything that they didn't understand, I would explain it to them and explain what it was that I meant. The fact that someone just can throw it out there tells me either that they didn't know what they meant, they just thought it sounded good, or my curiosity is, why didn't you ask what it meant? Maybe you were just feeling a little bit intimidated by the person. I wouldn't hold any store by it whatsoever, but I do have a message from Grey Eagle for you if you'd like that. And the message is, your husband is lovely. So there you are. There you have it. Let's have another question or a comment, Al. Let's keep it going a little, shall we?
So we have Nicole asked a question.
Oh,
I have a question about fasting. I'm currently on day 2 out of 3 of my water only fast. Do you believe that fasting can help make one stronger spiritually? If you fasted before, what was your experience like?
um, well, I fasted deliberately. I have done that. Um, but I've also been sick enough not to be eating anything at all and just merely on, on drips and things. Um, I think it depends on your mindset. Why are you actually fasting? Are you fasting because you feel it's going to make you a cleaner and a better vessel for anything that's out there, for you to capture anything that's out there? Are you fasting because you feel that being a cleaner and a more pure vessel will help you to connect more with that universal energy that's out there, which is why a lot of people do fast? Or are you fasting because you physically you need to get rid of all the toxins in your body? When I fasted before, my reason for fasting was to get rid of the toxins. I don't necessarily think that fasting helps you to connect more with the spirit world. I don't think that fasting is going to necessarily make you more aware or more connected. In fact, in my estimation, I know that there are people who say, and that there are mediums who say that they fast 24 or even some 48 hours before they do a consultation. Well, there are lots of reasons why I would never do that. Number one, I would never eat, because if I have a consultation, it's usually sort of, on a regular daily basis. So, I mean, if I had to fast in order to make a communication, as I said, I wouldn't ever eat, and I would starve to death.
Yeah.
So, but I don't think that fasting necessarily makes you more in tune. I don't necessarily think it helps to raise your level of consciousness, which I think is probably what this may be about. But I do think that fasting for a few days, don't overdo it, please. Fasting for a few days to get rid of all the toxins in your body can be a very good and a very healthy thing. But I don't think it necessarily improves your ability to become more sensitive and more aware of your own soul and the souls of others. Hope that hope that answers the question there. Hold on one second because I've got a wriggly bum. Do you want to and cuddle now for a little bit, or are you all right?
All right.
Well, if you're going to stay, you've got to sit still because you're wriggling all over me, little wriggle. Are you
Well,
wiggle? Are you wiggle or waggle?
wiggle.
You're wiggle bum. Come on. Uh, let's have another question now.
Waggle, maybe.
You waggle. All right.
Okay, so we have a comment and question from Marlene.
Good morning, Mom.
It's actually about the online course. Good morning, Rosemary. I'm hoping to get into the online classes, but not sure if I missed the deadline. I hope not because I would love to join the class.
I think the deadline is I'm not sure there is a deadline. The first class is on the 14th of March. So as long as you can fill in the forms and get your payment in before then, and the payment is accepted, and I don't know how long it takes, probably 3 days for your payment to be accepted, you'll be able to, to get into the first course. So you've got 2 weeks really. So because we start on the 14th, so my suggestion would be, you get in there before the 7th. Um, Al, can you explain how people can get into the course, what they do, what it is that they need to do, and where it is that they need to go?
So they have to go to, I think Carolyn sent out the page, but let me see if I can grab the page and put it.
We
I
put
don't,
we put it up on Facebook where you need
yeah,
to go,
yeah.
but
So you click on there, and there's just an enroll button. Once you click on that link, you click on enroll. You put your credit card information in there, and you're signed up to the course. And it shows me on the administrative side who signed up in there, and then you'll have access to all the course materials.
and then it shows. I think there is a little video on me describing somewhat what we're hoping, to do with the courses. But let me just clarify this. And I know that a lot of courses they have set lessons and they have set things that students do. We're going to go with the students. So if I feel that students are more interested in one thing than another, we're going to go with that. I'm going to, as I always do, play it by ear and listen to Gregor and listen to the spirit world who are going to guide me into what course of action the courses should take. So we could in the first lesson, it could take us, 2 or 3 weeks, or it could take us just 1 week. So we I like to do it as I'm feeling and sensing, and I'm going to be guided by Gregor as to what the students need, so that you'll all be satisfied. But I think that our course is very different. I think from a lot of courses, our online course, I should say, Al, is very different from a lot of courses because we do have the Facebook page as well. Can you explain to people, Al, how that works as well a little bit?
Sure. So we have once you get access to the course, you have all the course materials and the lessons in that course, but you also have access to a weekly discussion with you, Rosemary. Right? Well, you'll lead sort of a weekly discussion and answer questions from the
Yes.
group.
People, just to interrupt you, people have said, "Will I be on and will I be live?" And the answer is yes.
Wow.
Correct. And then we'll also have a Facebook group that's dedicated to only students in the class and the mentors and Rosemary. So you'll be able to throw ideas back and forth, ask questions about the materials presented by Rosemary, and have a dialogue beyond the live session with Rosemary on a weekly basis.
One of the ideas behind doing this is that you can get in touch with all the other students who are in your class. And, so if one of you is struggling with something and the other one gets it, you can help each other and connect with each other. And we're going to have Dean who will not only be doing the course, but as a student, he's going to be the liaison between the people who are doing the course, the students who are doing the course, and the mentors. So I think that's going to be fun as well. So we will always know at any given time if anyone is struggling, or if anybody's, and if as a student you are struggling, do not worry about that, because we all struggle with this stuff. And I'm just simply going to help and guide and steer you through it the best way I can.
And one of the really neat things is sort of that collegial sharing too. You learn from each other too, right, Rosemary? They'll learn from other people in the course, mainly from you, obviously, but also from each other.
And students have a tendency also, because you're all interested in the same thing, because you all have a common, a common connection, because you want to grow, you want to develop, you want to raise your level of consciousness, and so on. So because you all have that common connection, our students often make sometimes lifetime friends. We students sort of are friends forever. We've got Karen and Chris, for instance, who are our mentors, two of our mentors, and they are absolutely. I mean, they've been friends since they met years and years and years ago. They've been friends from their student days with me, which is really nice. Can you just excuse me 1 second? Right, if you can't be quiet, you have to go colour now. Off you go. Say bye bye to everybody, and I'll call you back in a minute. I'll call you back when it's time to say hello and goodbye again. All right? You can't sit here and wriggle and make noises. I'm sorry. You can't do it. Are you going to be quiet? Right, well, sit still then. Right, Al. Let's
All right, so
don't frown.
isn't that fun snuggling with Mosey?
Yes. Did you hear what I said? Is it fun snuggling with Moses?
Yeah.
Yes.
We have a question from Sunshine Moon.
Good morning, sunshine. Again, I think we had a question from you before, but that's okay.
Yeah. Does Gray Eagle have a soul sign?
Yes. Oh, you want me to elaborate?
I don't. She didn't ask that.
The answer is yes. I will elaborate. We've got on this sofa, we've got Grey Eagle, we've got Mosey, and we've got Reese Astle. We are all three earth signs. We are all three warrior souls. Wow, can you imagine that? The three of us together, we're so powerful, right?
Yeah.
Yes, we are. We are. So there you have it. Let's have another question or a comment, whatever.
We have Deborah.
Good morning, Deborah.
It says, "Good morning, Rosemary. I found a gold coin with angels on both sides. This morning I said I have to ask you about it. Just fell out of my wallet. What does all this mean?"
Wow, somebody loves you, that's for sure. You've been given a very special gift. I don't think I've ever seen a coin with angels on both sides. That's very special, isn't it?
Yeah.
Reese and I were talking about angels just yesterday, weren't we?
Yeah.
We love angels, don't we?
Yeah.
We just love them a lot. Yeah, they take care of us and they look after us. And somebody up there in the spirit world is saying to you that you are being taken care of, and that you are well loved, and that your angels are, yes, up there, yes, where I put your hand on it, that you that you are well loved and being taken care of. This here. This is my angel right here. Oh, but how lucky you are, my darling, to have that coin. You must keep it somewhere very safe, because it's very special. It could even be classed as an apport, which is an apport is a gift from God, from the spirit world, a gift that materializes from nowhere at all. Well, somewhere, but you know what I mean. Okay, Al.
So we have Candy asked the question.
Good morning, Candy.
I
And
had a wonder.
hope that you're not all put off by the fact that today I'm snuggling my grandson and he's snuggling me. So, but I can't, because I only get him for short periods of time. So I'm afraid you have to just deal with me. This is what you're seeing here is the doting grandmother. Right. Sorry. Oh, who wanted to ask the question now?
I think that's the closest thing to heaven, right? Snuggling with your kids or grandkids, right?
Have a question from Candy. Did you?
Yes, I had a wonderful friend named Pat. I miss her dear Rosemary. She left me with great advice. She left me great advice which I miss. I need her and I feel that I let her down. Please help me with this.
Well, normally we don't sort of. Always laugh when I say that. Normally we don't do these questions, and then we end up doing them right out. Um, I'm listening to Grey Eagle, who and I have another voice coming in from this side here, who feels Candy. I would love this to be a loving and soft and gentle and caring message for you, but actually, I think your friend is a bit upset with you because how could you think possibly that you let her down? And she's absolutely adamant that you did not in any way let her down. You were the best friend and still the best friend. So whatever you feel that when we lose someone, we always feel that we never did enough. We should have done more. We feel if we don't get to someone's bedside before we feel it's too late, we feel that we've let them down. Part of the grieving process is that major guilt that we have, that we should have, could have, or would have done better, if only, if only, if only. And I think, my darling, that you were the best friend ever, and I think she thinks so. So stop wasting your time and your energy feeling that you shoulda, coulda, or woulda, but just get on with your life and live it the best way you can. And she says, sort of really in my ear, and start to take the advice that I gave you. Wow. She's saying it with love, I'm sure, but she's very strong and she's coming at you now because you're being a bit silly. She feels. I don't think you are. I think you're just grieving. Part of the grieving process is that guilt that we didn't do enough, but you did. I'm sure you did. She says you did. And don't think that she's not with you, because if she can shout in my ear as loudly as she's shouting right now, she's definitely with you and definitely loves you very much. And I think also from what she's saying, she knew perfectly well you were going to ask that question this morning, which is why she's here with you. Let's have another question now, shall we?
Now we have a comment from Teresa. She says, "Thank you, Gray Eagle and Rosemary. This medium was quite evasive. Something about an anniversary. I'm going to put my money towards your class."
Oh, good. Well, Teresa, and I say this to everybody. We all know that, that there are people out there who claim to be something that they're not. And if you go to see someone like me and they're evasive, you know that they're not like me, because I'm going to tell you straight. If I tell you that somebody is something or another, I'm just going to tell you exactly what that means before you even have to ask me. I'm going to tell you what it means. So, we have people who claim to be the best doctors, who claim to be the best lawyers. We have people who claim to be who they're not. Mediums are just the same. We have people who claim to be mediums and they're not. And a little gift does not mean, a small gift or a small insight does not mean that you should be giving people advice in this way. So just I hope, I really hope it helps you. And I look forward to talking to you in our classes. We're excited about these classes, aren't we, Al?
Yes, we actually have a question about the classes from Sharon.
Go for it.
Uh,
Morning,
she
Sharon.
asks, will the classes be recorded so we can go back and refresh ourselves? Yes, they will, but only the people that are in the class will have access to those recordings.
Yes. So as long as you're in the classes and as long as you're signed up, you will have access to those recordings. You can go back, for instance, if you turn up late for a class and you miss the beginning, you can go back and watch the whole thing. If you watch the whole thing but you didn't quite get it or you didn't quite understand, you can go back and you can watch it again. So those classes are always available to you as long as you are signed up and as long as you're a student of the course. And I would love to say, let's give everybody access. but we can't. I mean, we just can't do that. It wouldn't be fair to the people who pay. It wouldn't be fair to Al. It wouldn't be fair to me. So we do have to have our rules and regulations. But yes, the classes absolutely will be recorded, and you can go back and you can watch those classes as many times as you like. So if you don't get it the first time, maybe after you've watched it 10 times over, you will get it. So, so that they'll be readily available, right, Al?
Yes.
Great. So I'm pleased to see that people are interested in the classes. You aren't being silly, are you? You're being a good boy, aren't you? Are you? Don't you love him? Don't you have to love him? Al, let's go. Let's have another one.
Okay, we have Mary.
Good morning, Mary.
My mom passed away a month ago. She made a list of items to give to me and my siblings. For example, her wedding ring, stuffed animals, but the list was destroyed. Is there any advice from her above, from above?
Don't do that, please. Rosie's thinking here. I'm listening to Grey Eagle, and it depends a lot. It depends a lot on how your family get on together, and it depends a lot also on the person who's been given the responsibility of executing the will or the list or the wishes of that person who's gone. First of all, can I say I feel so sad for you that you lost your mum, but I'm sure you know that she's watching you, watching over you anyway. Um, here is something that I watched and saw it working. Um, a family got together and they each said they spoke about the one thing that they would like. So each in turn went for the one thing that they would like. Now, in this particular case, the eldest had the first pick, the second eldest had the second, and so on and so forth. I'm sure that you'll remember some of the things that were on the list and some of the people who were meant to get things. So I would distribute those things first, and then I would get the family together and allow each person a pick of one thing, and then go round again and allow the person a second pick or a third, depending on how much property there is to choose from. If other people want the same thing, then you can do one of two things. You can actually sell it and split the money however many ways the family go, or you can, come to some agreement between you all, or as the executor, you can decide, well, this is who I feel mum wanted this for, so you get it. But you come to the table with that understanding so that there are no arguments and everybody's happy with the results. But the executor has the final say. I, I hope that helps you. Um, I do feel also um, that if you were to write out, here's another thing you can do. You can write out the items on the list and you can sit quietly on your own and ask your mother to give you the inspiration that you need. Sit very quietly, sit very calmly, and go through the list yourself and listen to your mum and see what you can feel is the right thing to do, because I'm sure she will show you in the best way she can. I hope that helps. Do you have anything to say about that, Al?
We were just talking about my father's stuff, my sister and I, before uh, I got on the call here, and this does not apply to everybody, but I've come to less value the stuff and more value my dad and what he gave to us. And in fact, before my father passed away, he was looking around. He loved Elvis, and he had his collection of Elvis plates. And he said, he looked around at all these plates hanging on the wall, and he said to me and my younger sister Jess, he said, Al, he said, this is all just stuff. As he was dying, and it really is something I'll always remember. And like I said, it's not something for everybody because there's always things that you want, and help you remember them. But
And I do understand why people would like sake. Uh, but see, if it were me, I would just make a list of all the stuff, and then I would connect with my whoever and see what they wanted to do. You can do that. Use your inspiration. Use your thoughts. Try to tune into your mother and try and do it that way if you would like to do it that way. And if not, do it the way that I suggested and gather the family together and allow them their choice as long as nobody else objects. But the family that I knew did this. The oldest went first, the eldest child went first, and so on and so forth. And it worked out really well for them because they loved each other so much that even if they really wanted something. If one of their siblings really wanted it also, they had such respect and love for each other that they were able to say, okay, then, well, he can have it. I know a lot of families are not like that, so you might want to try my suggestion and sit down with your mum. Remember, she's with you. Make your list and write it down and be inspired by your mother standing beside you. Listen to her. She'll whisper in your ear one way or another. Let's have another question, shall we, Al?
so Marlene says, I was the last person to see my dad before he passed. I walked into his hospital room and he grabbed my hand and said something to me. It was sudden as he was getting better. What was he saying?
Or Marlene, I would love to tell you, but as we have other little things going on here today, I don't know. But and does it matter? You held his hand. He held your hand. I think it was probably words of love. He was trying to say to you, probably trying to say the things that he hadn't been able to say to you when he was well and happy. Sometimes because we have so many issues in our lives when we don't always tell our loved ones how much we love them. And I suspect that your dad was trying to let you know, hopefully not too late, that he loved you. We always have to say, don't we, Reese? We always have to remember to say every day, Reese. Wait, I'm talking to
I
you.
love you.
I love you. What does Mosey say to you every night? Every night you call me, don't you? When you're home, and before you read books, you call Mosey to say good night, don't you? And what is the one thing that Mosey always insists on saying?
I love you.
I love you. And you always say it back to me too, don't you? Because every day you should always tell the ones you love that you love them. And if you can't do it, learn to do it. That's all I can say. Come on, snuggle up.
I just needed some
I
more.
know you did. I saw that.
It's
Let's have another question.
So Marlene added a comment. She said, Reese, my goodness, you're a handsome little boy. Enjoy the warm weather for me.
There. Well, that's it. Thank you very much, Marlene.
thank you.
Here's a
That
handsome.
was a surprise.
That was a surprise.
I didn't think that was gonna come,
I know.
but it did.
It did come, didn't it?
Yeah.
That was nice of Marlene, wasn't it, to say
Yeah.
that to you? I'm surprised that we haven't had more comments from people about you.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay, do we have another question? Thank you, Marlene.
We have a comment from Deborah, who had the coin with the angels on both sides. She said, thank you. My patient passed away on Sunday. I found the coin on Tuesday. It just appeared on the same floor she passed on.
There you are, then. You have your answer right there. How lovely. How really lovely. That's superb. That was super. I can remember many years ago, I was talking to a doctor who dealt specifically with people who were dying. Would you please sit still? I know I'm asking a lot, but we don't have too much longer to go. And you can always go on color if it's too much for you, right? So I was talking to a doctor who dealt with uh, patients who were very, very sick and in fact dying. And a young woman had been brought to his hospital. This was in New York City. A young woman was brought to his hospital. She was very young. She'd been found in the street. They think she'd been possibly hit by a car, but she looked like a vagrant. She was dirty and her clothes were awful. And anyway, they brought her into the hospital. She was obviously homeless, and they brought her into the hospital and they started to treat her, but she had some awful injuries to her side that she was not going to recover from. And this particular doctor used to go every night at night time when everybody else was asleep. He used to go and sit with her for maybe sometimes 10 minutes, sometimes half an hour, sometimes for longer. And he wouldn't say anything. She'd be asleep anyway, and he wouldn't say anything. But this particular night, when he went in, and it was fairly late, and she was awake, and she said to him, "Oh," she said. Um, you've come to visit me." She said, "I just had a visit. Did you see my angel?" And the doctor said, "No." And she said, "Oh, yes. He came and he sat with me and he put his hands on my side." And she showed him where the angel put his hands on her side. And so the doctor listened, and it was obvious the woman believed that she'd had an angel visiting her. And she said, and the angel said that I will be going tomorrow to, with her. She was going to come back and she was going to take me. She was going to take me to God. So I'm very excited. And the doctor said, "Well, maybe not tomorrow. We're going to try to see if we can help you and we can, do something about making you more comfortable." And this lady, young lady, just smiled at him and she said, "All right, well, I know you'll do your best." And the next morning, the doctor went into the hospital and to visit the young lady, and she'd gone. And so he went to the nurse's station. He said, "Where is she?" And the nurse said, "Oh, I don't know. Where is she? Did somebody take her? Maybe someone took her for an X-ray." Well, it turned out that this lady just disappeared. She came from nowhere and she disappeared to nowhere. Maybe she was the angel herself after all. I love those angel stories. I tell you, they just inspire me. And they never found her, and she just disappeared. Let's have another question now. Have I silenced you?
We have Wendy. She says, "Greetings, Rosemary. At the time of my mom's passing, my sister hurt her terribly. Is mom okay with it now? Has she forgiven her? I need to move on from this as it haunts me.
Sorry, who hurt who?
My sister hurt her terribly. Her mother. So her sister hurt her mother. Is her mother okay with it now? Has she forgiven her? Uh,
His hand. All is forgiven. You need to move on. All is forgiven. You need to move on. And that's all we need to say. I hope that helps you. Get on with your life. All is forgiven. All is forgiven, your sister, I'm sure. Get on with your life. Let's have our next question.
so we have Magdalena says, "Gorgeous blonde hair of Reese."
Oh,
Uh,
that's another.
and Twiggy says he has angel curls.
Yes, he does. Look at these girls. Have you seen them? There's blonde hair, curly hair. And I'll tell you what he really loves. He really loves it when I'm telling a story and it's about a little boy with blonde hair and green eyes. Who's that about? When I tell a story, it's about you. Yes, it is. It's about you. Thank you, everybody. Next question.
So Violet says, "Morning, Rosemary. Uh, I wish I had a bowl of chocolate ice cream to show you. I met someone finally,
Oh,
having made some very bad choices in the past. Is this one a good guy?"
I wonder why the bowl of chocolate ice cream. Maybe because
Yeah, maybe she could explain them.
well, I think maybe because I very often, if I have a dinner party, maybe she knows this. Very often, when I have a dinner party, and I bring out chocolate ice cream with a white plate. Yes, it's delicious. And then I can see certain things in the ice cream. Just like when years and years ago, or maybe still today, people used to read people used to read tea leaves. I have always I can read tea leaves. I have always been able to read the foam in beer mugs that comes down the side. If I have somebody's dinner plate and I look at the sort of the marks in the gravy or something, or the sauce that's left on the plate, you can see things in there. No, it sounds fantastic and weird, but with my students, very often I'll say, let's get a bowl of ice cream. But you have to eat the ice cream. And then, because everything is about energy, your energy is infused into the ice cream on the plate, and you can often see wonderful, wonderful things in the ice cream. If my friend Mary Lou were here, she will tell you the story. She came one time, and she and Karen went out and got some chocolate ice cream just so I could read their ice cream plates. You have to be quiet, please. Just so I could read the ice cream plates. And in Mary Lou's ice cream plate, as clear as a bell, I could see a fetus in a womb. You couldn't mistake it. And I said to her, I think this is for your daughter. And sure enough, she went home. She took a photo of it. She went home. And a couple of days later, she said to her daughter, I've got something to show you, but I know you'll think I'm being really weird. And so she showed the daughter the photograph of the baby. And Melissa burst into this is her daughter burst into tears. And she said, I was going to wait to tell you, but I'm pregnant. So there we have it. So you see a lot in ice cream. So maybe that's why. What was the question? Was this the one? If he's a gorgeous man and he treats you with respect, absolutely. Just remember that the reverse is also you have to tell each other how much you love each other every day. Never take each other for granted and treat each other gently. Remember what Grey Eagle says to us in your own house, in your own space. Walk softly and speak gently. That's how you should treat those in your own household. All right. Let's have a. Do we have any more questions, Al? We're almost through. We're
Yeah,
almost
we're
through.
almost out of time, but we do have a couple more questions.
Hold on. Sorry, Al. The
That
ice,
ice cream
that ice cream was delicious. Yes. We have chocolate. We're going for an ice cream after the show, aren't we? I promised you.
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry, Al. Go ahead.
So we have Magdalena says, Dear Rosemary, my father's cousin Zozia committed suicide some years ago. It was unexpected. Her life seemed to be turning for better at the time. Is she okay now? Does she have a message for us?
Um, Listening to Grey Eagle, should I answer this question or not? And it seems such a simple answer, but and I don't mean it to, but it really is a simple answer. A lot of people think that when somebody takes their own life, that it's the worst thing in the world to do, and so on, and that God will not accept them, that it goes against God and it's a wicked thing to do. And I don't believe that at all. Not that I'm advocating that everybody should go out and do it. I'm not. But sometimes God calls us home unexpectedly, and this is the way that we return to Him. I think that your cousin is with God. I think she is safe and well, and I think that she's often around you. So please don't
Right?
don't fret about that. She's fine. She's safe. Next question.
Dean has a comment. He says, I used to have long blonde curls.
Hold on 1 second. I was wondering where you were. Dean made my Christmas cake. Used my recipe and made my Christmas cake. So what do you think of that?
Good.
Good. Yes, good. All right. I'm sorry. Go on, Dean. I'm listening. I'm paying absolute attention.
He said, I used to have long blonde hair curls just like yours when I was small because my parents didn't have the heart to cut them.
Well, anyway, the woman is fair. She's trained as a hairdresser, and I think she does a good job. But we do like to leave it nice and long, don't we?
Yeah.
Because it's so beautiful and so so curly. But
I know this one is down to here.
where is it? Is it
Ne-
down it into your neck? If you sit up a minute, let me look. You have
Whoa.
to turn around for everybody.
One of my hairs is
Turn
down
around.
to
Turn
here.
around. Turn around. Look. Look. See. See all those curls? Look at those.
Whoa.
Don't we love those curls? Okay. Well, thanks, team, for that. I know that you don't have curly hair now.
Yeah, he joked. He says he has no hair now to enjoy it.
What's your hair like, Al?
I had very dark hair, but very thick, bushy hair,
Was
very
it?
wavy, bushy hair. Yeah.
And then it just fell out.
Yes, just one day, poof, gone.
I don't think so. Was it really?
Not quite.
That was
I sneezed too hard one day, Reese, and poof, it went out.
Oh no. So the moral of that story is don't sneeze because it
Not too hard, at least.
will fall out. But it might not grow back.
Like,
Do we have one more question?
We have one more question from Timothy.
Timothy, that's a
Yes.
name. Good morning.
Nice to see you. I have a question. Is the soul's mission on earth to find and develop its true self?
Yes. That you have it in a nutshell. You obviously know what you're talking about, and yes, that is the soul's mission, to learn, to grow, and to become more of who we are. Because we of course are our soul. So we need to, as souls who walk this earth. I mean, Tilhard de what his name is, de Jardin said, we are what did he say? We are spiritual beings having a human experience. And I like to take that one step further. We are spiritual beings having a human experience, hopefully in a spiritual way. So we try to learn and we try to grow and we try to become more of who we are. We're not always successful. We're successful in some in areas, but we're not always successful in all areas. But that's okay too, as long as we're trying and as long as we are being the best that we can possibly be.
Yep.
In every way, right?
I just said yeah.
Yeah, I know you did.
Just want to quickly comment. There are a number of people that came on the chat that are uh, really saying some nasty things, and I apologize to everybody for that. We can't control that.
Or that because these people are just nasty people, and we take no notice of them whatsoever. These are people who have no lives of their own, miserable and unhappy people, and we can only hope that they become happier as time goes on. Um, Stephen Fry is a very, very well known guy in England. Really, really lovely guy in England. And he has some really great words of wisdom about people who use the media for their own vitriol and their own meanness. And, if people want to be mean and people want to be vitriolic, off you go and do it. Just, stay out of our space. We should block you. That's what we should. And we should just keep smiling and being happy. Do we have another question now before we leave?
Nope, I think that's about it.
Okay. Well, then, oh, phew. Matt, Reese, Reese is so happy. It's the end. But you were a very good boy. Do you want to say anything to everybody?
Goodbye.
Good. Oh. Well, how about goodbye and thank you for listening?
Goodbye. Thank you for listening.
And how about thank you for all those lovely things that people say?
Thank you for all those lovely things.
Yes. Shall we kiss? Ooh, am I the luckiest person ever? All right. Well, until I see you all again next week, we will not be doing the Everything is Attitude show tomorrow night, which is a regular Friday night show with Alan that Alan and I do. It's 6 o'clock every Friday, Standard Eastern Time. But we will not be doing it tomorrow because this is my last night with my darling boy and my darling girl. So I'm afraid I shall be busy and everything else takes second place to that. But we will see you next week, next Thursday on our YouTube as usual, and we will also see you.
I will not be here.
No, you'll be in New York City. You'll be at school, won't you?
Yeah.
And we shall see you
I'll be at
we'll
school.
see you next week on Friday night as usual.
Yeah, next week.
So until we see you again,
Bye bye.
if you need to know more about our classes, email me, Rosemary at rosemaryaLtea.com.
Bye-bye.
Stop that now.
Okay.
If you need to know more about the classes, if you need to know more about a walk in the clouds, if you need to know more about anything that we do, email us, Rosemary at rosemaryaLtea.com. And we shall see you all again next week. And until we do, please, 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 everyone, have a very, very, very blessed day. And now,
Bye.
wait a minute. And now I have to say bye bye, Reese.
Bye bye.
And I have to find the little arrow. Where is it? Where did it go? Oh, there it is. And we're going to click it. Say once again, say bye bye, everyone.
Bye bye, everyone.